Hi, good morning. How are you doing today? My name is Kim. I am a community learning specialist with DoSpace. And this month we have been, oh, one moment, I am getting some feedback. There we go. Got a few little technical difficulties. Just a second. Well, that's okay. So, good morning. My name is Kim. I'm a community learning specialist with DoSpace, and we are doing Little's Lab today. And all month long, we've been kind of talking about constructing and engineering. And so we are going to be still talking about that today, but just maybe in a little bit different of a way than you might normally think when you think about constructing and engineering. But my first question for you today is going to be, what does that mean to you? What does construct mean? You probably have heard that word before. I bet maybe if you use the word or heard of a construction site or construction paper or a construction worker, what kind of comes to mind for you when you think of the word construction and or construct in those ways? What do you think comes to mind? Does building come to mind? Yeah, so basically construct is just another word for build. And so we've been kind of talking about how things are built and things like that. And then we have engineer. We are constructing engineering. And that word you might not be as familiar with. And that's okay. It's kind of a big word. Basically, somebody who can engineer something. So you can actually do do engineering. You can engineer something, or you can be an engineer. So it's something you can be and something you can do. And so if you are somebody who is an engineer, a lot of times people who are engineers, they help with building things, but not only do they build stuff, but they also think of the design. So they might think of something they want to build, and they'll plan it out. So they might even, they might draw something on a piece of paper, if it's, they might, draw a blueprint or something. They might practice, making something before they make it for real, which is called like a prototype. And then they give like the instructions, they write out the instructions or help the people who are going to build it. They'll either build it themselves or sometimes they ask other people to build it. And they'll give the instructions or directions on how to build it. So today, even though we are still talking about engineering and constructing, we're going to be talking about it in a little bit different way, in that we are talking about it as a software engineer. So a software engineer, what does that mean? Well, right now, if you're watching me either on Facebook or on Zoom, you are using software to watch me. So it's the stuff that helps our computers, do stuff. So right now, right now I'm sitting in front of a computer, and that's the hardware, right? The stuff I can physically feel and touch. My mouse is hardware. I can physically touch it. The software is the stuff, the computing stuff that you see on your screen. So maybe it's the internet that you're watching or using right now, or the software that how you're using this. If you're using Zoom, that's software. It's stuff that you can't physically touch, but like with your mouse, you might be able to interact with it. Or, a video game or a game on your app, or sorry, a game on your iPad or a phone, all of that, stuff that you can't physically touch, but maybe you can interact with within that device is software. And how it is built, it has to be built, right? It doesn't just appear. You might think it just appears a lot. Wouldn't that be nice if it just appeared? But a lot of times people put in hard work on building it. They have to create it, right? It doesn't just appear. They have to create it. Just like a house doesn't just appear. Somebody has to build it, design it and build it. And that's what software engineers do. They design and build it. And they do that using stuff called code. You may have heard that word before. It's a pretty popular word these days when it comes to like technology and stuff. And code is basically, if you kind of think, it's like a language. I'm speaking a language, I'm speaking English. Maybe you speak English, maybe you speak something other than English. But words and sentences are made up of letters that make, all of that kind of builds into like the language that we speak, right? Well, computers run off their very own language. And the code is how us as humans kind of talk to computers. Code is that language. And sometimes it's hard to read or write. But people like software engineers, they learn how to type it, they learn it, and then they're able to create software with that. So yeah, that's what we're going to be kind of learning about today. And so today, we are going to be reading a book called DALL-E 1.0 that is about a little girl who has to be kind of a software engineer with her DALL-E. And then I'm going to be showing you an app today called Scratch Junior. And it is a really cool app that you can use like on an iPad or even a computer or a phone, that you can make your very own like games or what's called programs or software to do things, and you can be a software engineer. So I'm going to show you how, like a little bit about how that works. So perfect. So yeah, so let's get started. I always like to start our Littles Lab. If you're new to Littles Lab, I like to start it with our calendar because it just kind of gets us set for the day. And our calendar is so great for learning our numbers, our days of the week, and even our letters. So I am going to share with you a screen. Which one am I going to share? Just one moment. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've used, there we go, the computer. I usually do it on my iPad, but I'm doing my computer today. So let's share this screen. Perfect. Okay, so hopefully you are able to see my screen, and you should be able to see a purple background with like a little button in the middle. Now, if you know about Do Space or in Littles Lab, then if you've been here before, that you know that our Littles Lab room has a really big touchscreen monitor, that I usually invite friends up to touch it to move us along this website. Obviously, we can't really do that when we're separated like we are, but I'm going to have you pretend to do it with me. So, for example, you should see on your screen a big purple-ish, whitish triangle. And I want to see what happens if you touch that. I'm going to touch it. I'm going to click it. But I want you to touch it with your finger and see what happens if you touch it with your finger. Let's go. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, touch. Did your screen change? Oh, I hope so. You should see a word and then a big number. If you saw a word and a big number, then you did it right. And so that word, our very first word, is our month today. And I want to ask, do you know what that letter is? What's our letter for our very first word? Do you know what the very first letter of that word is? If you said our letter J, you would be right. It is our letter J. And who knows, do you know what our month is called? Do you know what our month is called that starts with our letter J? There's a lot that start with our letter J, right? But this month is called June. We are smack dab in the middle of June, and we are in the year 2020. That big double number, the 2020 is the year we are in, and yeah, it's 2020. Perfect. So we're going to move on. You should see a kind of a green arrow with a hand pointing to it. Go ahead and touch that green arrow. And you should see that our screen has changed. And at the top, it says June 2020. And then right under that is our days of the week. It is so important to know our days of the week, right? It is so important. So let's say our days of the week. You say them with whoever you're with, and I'm going to say them with you. And let's start with Sunday. So there's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Great job. So those are our 7 days of the week. And do you know what our day of the week is today? Hint, there is a hand pointing to it. Comes after Monday, but before Wednesday. Today is Tuesday. That is right. Today is Tuesday. So go ahead and touch that Tuesday for us. Can you touch that Tuesday? Let's touch it. Perfect. So today is Tuesday. That's our day of the week. Our day of the week. Our month is called June. And then our number, that number is our date today. That's our date today. And we know it is because it has that big purple star on it as well. And how many of you know what that number is called? Who knows what number when a one is in front of a 6? 1 is in front of a 6. It is 16. That is right. Today is the 16th day of June. And our year is 2020. Okay, go ahead and touch that green button for us. Go ahead and touch that green arrow. Excellent. Okay, so now we need to put our Tuesday where it needs to go in our day of the week and our 16 in the date. So I want you to just touch and drag our Tuesday. Can you touch and drag this Tuesday up where it needs to go with me? Excellent. And let's do the same with our 16 or 16th day of June. Great. And let's touch this green arrow one more time. Okay, excellent. So yes, this is our month of June today. And I like this website. It's called Starfall. And I think it's a really great website because it always has little pictures or icons on special days for every month. So we don't have a lot going on in our month of June, but we do have a really cool day that's coming up at the end of the week on Saturday, June 20th. And that is going to be the first day of summer. And I know what you're probably thinking. Are you thinking, well, isn't it already summer? We're on summer vacation. It feels like summer outside, right? It's hot. Ooh, it's so hot and windy. It feels like summer. But we are technically not quite in summer yet. We are in a different season. There are 4 seasons, right? And summer's one of them. Does anybody know what season we are still in right now? We are still in the season of spring. We are technically still in spring. And then there's fall that comes after summer and winter. So those are our 4. Summer, winter, or summer, fall, winter, spring. And we are still in the season of spring. But we will officially be in summer on the 20th. That's going to be our first day of summer. But not only that, it's also what's called our summer solstice. And that means it's our longest day of the year. So our sun is going to rise in the earliest. So it's going to be super, super early when it rises in the morning. And we're going to get daylight really super early in the morning. And then it's going to set the latest in the evening. Because we're basically it's not dark out until 9 o'clock. So it's definitely evening time, right? So it's going to be the longest day of the year, the most amount of sunshine we have all year long. So up until that point, every day until the 20th, our days are getting longer and longer. The sun's rising earlier and setting later. But then after the 20th, our days are going to get shorter and shorter, where the sun is going to start to rise later and our sun is going to set earlier in the day. So it's going to be a really long day on the 20th, Saturday the 20th. And then our next fun day, special day, is the next day on Sunday, June 21st, and that is Father's Day. So that's where we celebrate those special guys in our life, right? Our dads, grandpas, maybe uncles or big brothers, special guys that, maybe help raise us. And that can always be different for everybody. And so it says Father's Day, but it's a day to celebrate those special guys in our life that help raise us. So so hopefully you have maybe something special, even if it's as simple as maybe drawing a picture or, making a card with it doesn't have to be fancy, just to show that special guy in your life that you love and care about them. So that is on Sunday, June 21st. Now it doesn't look like there are any other days. So I'm going to ask, does anybody have any birthdays in June? I know I have a birthday and you have a birthday, but I'm looking for friends who specifically have birthdays in June. Not everybody has a birthday in June, right? I don't, but maybe you do. Do you have a birthday in June? If not, no worries. Well, I know we had a friend that said their birthday was on the 29th. So I'm going to put, or maybe it was the 28th. So I'm going to put a piece of cake on June 28th. Perfect. Okay, friends. So we are going to change. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Thank you for helping me out with my calendar today. So yeah, like I said, we are talking about software engineers and building that. And so we are going to read a story by Shanda McCloskey. And it is a story called Doll E. And it is about a little girl named Charlotte. And she's a tinkerer. She likes to kind of build things with and use technology. And she receives a special gift, and she has to see if she can become a software engineer to change it a little bit. So let's see what Doll E 1.0 is all about. I'm going to make sure that you are nice and in the screen. You can see everything on our story. Doll E 1.0. Okay, so this is Charlotte. So Charlotte's head is always in the cloud. She is tinkering and toggling and coding, using that language to build software and downloading. She's doing a lot of things on that computer, right? And she was Mama's little genius. And her mom saying, I think I broke it. And Charlotte says, easy fix, Mom. Just press this, this, and this. And she was Daddy's little smarty pants. And Dad said, how do you make this goofy thing? How do you work this goofy thing? And she says, easy, Dad. Just press that, that, and that. And Charlotte's world was fully charged. Look at her. Her and her dog have VR, virtual reality headsets on. So they are fully charged. She loves technology. But then one day, her mama had a present for Charlotte. And Charlotte said, is it a dog bark decoder device? So I know what Bluetooth is saying? Who do you think Bluetooth is? You think it's her doggy? Yeah. So she thinks it's a device to be able to understand her dog with his barks. And her mom says, nope, even better. What do you think it is? Your mama says, surprise. And Charlotte says, how do you use it? Are there instructions? And her mama says, I was thinking you could play house or doctor with it. Charlotte says, no, thank you. And her mom says, just give it a try. I'm sure you'll figure something out. Because usually a lot of technology have instructions. Do dolls usually have instructions? Sometimes, but not usually. So Charlotte dragged the human-shaped pillow into her room. Look how she dragged it with this extendable arm that she's controlling. And she tried sharing her spare parts collection with it. And Charlotte says, do you want to build something? Does it look like her dolly can build anything? No. And she tried playing superhero space princesses. And Charlotte says, help! The moon dragon is destroying our ship. Do dolls usually play video games? No. And she even tried a dance party. Is her dolly dancing? No, because her doll just stared. Her dolly is just staring at Charlotte, right? Charlotte says, well, what do you want to play then? What does her dolly want to play then? She's surprised. And her doll says, Mama. Who, me? I'm not your mama. Her doll says, Mama. How can I be your mama? I'm just a kid. And then Charlotte thought of something. If the doll could talk, then it must have a power supply. What are those? Those batteries? Yeah, she has some batteries. She has this power supply. So now things were getting interesting. And Charlotte says, Got any other words in your database, Dolly? And her Dolly said, Mama, Mama, Mama. Doesn't seem like she can say anything else, right? So Charlotte says, I know. I can run an update on you, and you could say more words. Would you like that? Doll says, Mama. Charlotte says, I'll take that as a yes. So she is going to update her. And she's going to be doing some software engineering to update her Dolly. So Charlotte says, this update is going to be awesome, Dolly. You'll be saying hello, goodbye, let's play, happy birthday, and yes, and no! What's happening? Did Bluetooth grab her doll? Did Bluetooth grab Dolly? She did before Dolly could be fully updated. What happened? Bad boy Bluetooth. What did Bluetooth do? He tore up Dolly. Do you have a pet that's ever torn up a toy before? It can be sad, right? But Charlotte couldn't let it end this way. She gathered up the Dolly parts and she put on her safety glasses and she put on her safety gloves and she got out her spare parts box and she knew what she had to do. What do you think she's gonna do? Oh my goodness, what's happening? Does it look like she might be building a new Dolly? Yeah. So not only is she being a software engineer, she's being a regular kind of engineer, right? A doll, a toy type engineer. So she drew out a design that she wants a Dolly to look like, and she's putting it back together, and she's gonna upgrade it with her computer. Let's see what happens. So with a few spare parts and a bit of code, Charlotte changed the doll. So now her Dolly says, hello, my name is Dolly 1.0. And with 2 bright eyes and a cute little battery pack, the doll changed Charlotte too. So now Charlotte's saying, Dolly, wanna take Bluetooth for a walk with Mama? So now she kind of thinks of, she's like the mama to her Dolly, right? But not too much. She didn't change her too much. Because look what she gave her Dolly. Those extendable arms to help walk Bluetooth. And she still says, Mama. The end. So yeah, so she was all sorts of engineering, right? She was a toy engineer. She was a software engineer. She was engineering. Charlotte was doing all sorts of engineering, right? Absolutely. Well, perfect. Well, friends, we are going to kind of switch gears. I'm going to show you the app that I was talking to you about so you could be a software engineer and kind of create your own software or program. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to change things up a little bit. I'm going to change over to my iPad. So really quickly, I'm going to turn off my video. I'm going to turn on there you go. I think you should be able to see it. Excellent. Okay, so I am going to mute my computer because I was getting an echo. There we go. Okay, so you should still see me, but now I am going to share with you an app that's on my iPad, which I'm now realizing I could have done it on my computer. I could have because it's internet-based, but that's okay. We've already changed things up. So I am going to share with you an app called Scratch Junior. And it is, you may have heard, maybe our grown-ups have heard of Scratch before. And it is Scratch is kind of like an older kiddo or adult version
to make programs, and you can do so many things, but this one is really great because it is for our little friends. And so, so this is really great to help our little ones learn Scratch. So I'm going to change it up. So this is called Scratch Junior, and you should be able to download this app for free. So you shouldn't be able to see me anymore. You should only see my screen. And so if you were to download this app called Scratch Junior, it should be for free. And so what I'm going to do is, this is our kind of home screen where you can create new projects. So I'm going to touch that kind of plus sign that's on the left, and I'm going to take us to, this is kind of our home screen if you were making a program. And so you should see right in the middle a little kitty cat, and that is our little kitty cat character. And a lot of times when you're making a character or making something in a program like this, the characters are called sprites. So any type of different character is called a sprite. So this sprite is of a little kitty cat. And I'm going to show you how to make our little kitty cat move. So right underneath, you should see a whole bunch of blue, kind of look like buttons that fit into each other. You should see one that turns to the left, or goes to the left and to the right and up and down. And so I'm going to just touch and bring those down. So you should see that I brought one that kind of faces to the right, one that faces to the left, one that faces up, and one that faces down. They should all have a number 1 underneath, right? Yeah. So this is the code or that I want my sprite or a little kitty cat to do. These are the directions. Basically, code is just directions or instructions for something. So these are the instructions that I want our sprite or our kitty cat to do: to move up, to move to the right, to move to the left, to move up and down. And so, but now I need to get our sprite, our kitty cat, to move, right? I need to tell him to start because he's not doing it right. We need to tell him to start somehow. So on the left-hand side, you should see some buttons, a yellow button, and a blue button, a purple button, a green button, and an orange button, and a red button. And I'm going to touch the yellow button. And these are different ways to get your sprite to move, to get started. So I'm going to take the one with the green flag. I'm going to take that green flag and I'm going to put it right at the beginning of my directions, my code or instructions, right? And you should see right above our box where our sprite is in, you should see a green flag. So I'm just going to touch that green flag. Ooh, it went quick, right? I'm going to do it one more time. Watch, I'm going to touch it right now. And our little sprite moved, but he moved so quickly, right? Our little sprite moved so quickly. So maybe I want our sprite to do those movements for a little bit longer. So underneath where it shows the 1, I'm going to touch that 1. And on the right-hand side, you should see a little keypad. So I'm going to do 3 across the board. So each one of these instructions, I'm going to touch and then change to 3. And then one more time, I'm going to touch our green flag. So now it's a little bit more obvious, right? That they're moving. Yeah. And so these, I mean, you can change that to different numbers. You can even change it to, so maybe I want him to turn a little bit and I'm going to change that to 3. Let's see what happens with our code now. Turn it up and down. Oh, and now he turned a little bit. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to reset him by turning. You should see at the very end of that, where all those blue buttons are, at the very end on the right, there should be kind of like a backwards arrow. I'm going to, this is what I want to do. Above by the flag, there is a little blue button with an arrow on it, and that kind of resets your sprite. So I could do all that. Maybe I don't want those. Maybe I want to do something else. I'm just going to drag them above. Or maybe I want to add a different sprite. So on the right-hand side, you should see the little, where it says cat. And there should be kind of a plus sign right underneath on the left-hand side. And I'm going to touch that. And now I have so many different options for sprites, so many different characters that you can use. So maybe I'm going to add, I might add maybe this dog. I'm going to add a dog too. And so, and I can actually move my sprites around if I want. And then I'm also going to change my background, because right now my background is just plain white. And right above, you should see right above my sprite right now, my kitty cat sprite there, you should see kind of a box that has a landscape on it. So I'm going to touch that. And now I have so many different options for backgrounds instead of just a plain one. So because, you know, I have a little kitty and a dog, maybe they're in a park. So I'm going to touch the one that's the very top row, the second to the left, and I'm going to touch that one, double tap it, and now our characters are in the park. And now we can tell them to do something. So maybe I might change where I might move them, and I can select by touching either the cat or the dog, and I can give them each directions or each code. So maybe I want our dog to go to our cat. So what do I need to do? He needs to move to the right, right? So I'm going to press this down. And this is where you kind of have to experiment, right? So I also need him to start. So I'm going to press our green. So every time I press our green flag, our dog will move. So let's see what happens. Did he get to our kitty? Nope. So what do you think I need to do to change that? Should I change the number? I could change the number. Let's reset so I can reach it. Maybe it'll do 4. Maybe it'll take 4 kind of movements to get to our kitty cat. Let's find out. I'm going to touch our green flag one more time. Ooh, not quite. So what I could do is I could bring down another move right and then change that to 4. Do you think that will work? Let's see. Let's reset our doggy. Ooh, that is right about it. So I could do that, or there's another way you can actually, look, we'll just keep it at that. So it took 2, I bet if we changed that to 8, right? I bet that number to 8, it would also get all the way there. But what now? I'm going to say our kitty cat is very excited. And I want our kitty cat to kind of jump, look like it's jumping up and down. I'm going to move him up a little bit. And I want him to kind of jump up and down as his face is excited. So I'm going to bring down the up arrow and the down arrow. And maybe that one more time. Or we'll just do it that, up arrow and down arrow. Let's see. If I touch that green flag, oh no, but he jumped beforehand. So I bet we have to change it a little bit. So what if I'm not exactly sure. Now that I'm realizing I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but maybe we want him just to jump up and down the entire time that our dog is moving. So I could put, you know, up and down and up and down and up and down, but that could be a lot, right? So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to touch this orange button over here. And our orange buttons has something called a loop function, which means that for 4 times, the up and down is going to repeat 4 times. So let's try it out. So I'm going to touch our green arrow. So our dog's moving, and the entire time our little sprite jumped up and down because it just repeated the up and down 4 times. Nice. Okay, friends, well, that is about my time for you today. I hope you really enjoyed learning about this app. It's a really cool app, and you could do so many great things with it. And so it's a really great way to introduce kiddos into coding, an easy way into coding. So friends, I'm going to switch me back to me. So you should be able to see me now. Excellent. So I'm just going to say thank you so much for joining me for Little's Lab today. I hope you had so much fun. Join me again next week, and we are going to kind of be talking about little bit more about building, like kind of maybe cities, city building and how that works. So excellent. So friends, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to check out our make along video that's getting posted today on our YouTube Do Space channel and on our social media. You'll be able to see those. And we have a cool make along that'll be available to watch at noon. So hopefully you will have a lot of fun with this week's make along video that we're doing every Tuesday throughout the summer, throughout June and July. Awesome. Well, I hope to see you guys next time and hope you have a good day. Bye.